You're walking down a street. The sky's been gray all day. And then the first drop hits the pavement. You stop, you breathe in, and something happens inside you that you can't explain. A wave of calm, a flicker of memory you didn't know you had. Maybe a childhood porch, maybe a place you've never even been. That smell has a name, petrichor. And in a few minutes, you're going to understand why your body reacts to it like it's remembering something ancient. Because it is. This isn't nostalgia. This isn't poetry. This is 400 million years of survival wired straight into your nose. In 1964, two Australian researchers, Isabel Baer and Richard Thomas, sat down to solve a smell that had never been properly explained. Everyone knew the scent. Nobody could say what it was. They found it. An oil released by plants during dry periods, sitting in rocks and soil, waiting. When rain finally comes, the impact releases that oil into the air, mixed with a compound called geosmin, produced by bacteria living in the ground beneath your feet. They gave the smell a name built from Greek. Petra, stone. Ichor, the blood of the gods, released from stone. That's not an exaggeration for effect. That's literally what the word means. Because whoever named it understood something you're about to understand too. This smell doesn't feel ordinary. It never has.
Your nose is better at this than a shark. Here's a number that should stop you. Your nose can detect geosmin at concentrations as low as 5 parts per trillion. Sharks can smell blood in the water at 1 part per million. You can smell geosmin at a concentration hundreds of times more diluted than that.
Think about what that means. Evolution didn't build your sense of smell to be weak. It built one specific trigger, the smell of rain on dry earth, to be one of the most sensitive things your body can detect. Why would evolution spend that much precision on a smell? Because for most of human history, that smell wasn't pleasant. It was information. And information about water was the difference between living and dying.
Go back further than cities, further than farming. Go back to the plains of Africa, hundreds of thousands of years ago, where your ancestors were following herds, tracking rivers, always calculating one question. Where is the water? A drought could last months. Water sources could dry into cracked mud. And an early human walking those plains had no forecast, no map, no way to know when relief was coming. Except one thing. When rain finally broke a dry spell, it left a signature in the air. A smell carried for miles on the wind, arriving before the storm itself. The humans who could detect that signal, who stopped, turned toward it, moved before the rain even reached them, got there first. First to the pooling water, first to the fresh growth that would follow, first to survival. The humans who couldn't smell it or ignored it arrived late, or didn't arrive at all. That's not a guess. That's basic selection pressure, repeated across thousands of generations, until the trait wasn't rare anymore. It was universal. You didn't learn to love this smell. You inherited the version of humanity that couldn't survive without noticing it. The part of your brain that never forgot. Here's where it gets stranger. Smell is the only one of your senses with a direct line to the amygdala and the hippocampus, the parts of your brain responsible for emotion and memory. Every other sense gets processed and filtered first. Smell goes straight in. That's why a scent can drop you into a memory faster than a photograph ever could. And it's why petrichor doesn't just register as pleasant. It registers as safe, as relief, as something in you exhaling before you've...
The world built around this one smell. Once you know this, you start seeing it everywhere. In India, the tradition of mrigashara, Communities gathering the first rains before monsoon season for their fragrance, their meaning, their relief after brutal dry heat that can stretch for months. In perfumery, entire product lines built to recreate petrichor synthetically because humans will pay money to smell something their ancestors once tracked across a continent for free. In language, cultures across the world building separate, specific words just for the smell of rain. Because it smells nice was never enough to describe what people were actually feeling. You don't build rituals, industries, and vocabulary around something meaningless. You build them around something what this means about who you are. So the next time the first drop of rain hits dry pavement near you, and you stop and you breathe it in, understand what's actually happening. You are not imagining a connection to the past. You are the connection. Every ancestor who survived a drought because they turned toward that smell instead of ignoring it, their nervous system is still running inside you. Their instincts didn't disappear. They just got quieter, buried under thousands of years of comfort, climate control, and grocery stores that never run dry. But the wiring never left. It's still there, waiting for one thing to activate it. Rain, hitting dry earth, releasing a memory older than language itself. You don't just love the smell of rain. You are, in that exact moment, everyone who came before you, breathing out, together, in relief.